Welcome to IdiotBox Podcast, where a couple of idiots overanalyze actions of other idiots on TV. My name is Ray, and these are my co-hosts, Hannah.
Hi.
And Adam.
Hello.
We're here to break down the latest season of ABC's The Bachelorettes. And yes, I said Bachelorettes with an S because they put two of these people on as leads. So fucking rude. And I know what you're thinking. You don't need another Bachelor Nation podcast, but trust me, we are so much more. We're going to be breaking down all of the best reality shows that you all know and love. So let's start this off by giving our first impressions of the show in 3 words or less. Hannah, start it off.
Okay, I've been thinking about this very hard. Okay, my 3 words are oof, ouch, and ugh.
All right, Adam, what about you?
So my 3 words, I have staged, nerves, and I cheated. I put a little dash in the middle of this one, but sexual frustration.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Mine is men ain't shit because these men are already talking about which one do you like more? Which one do you like more? Like they're fucking terrible.
Or what about the ones where they're like, what
men.
if they both like me? Like
It's
don't worry
one.
about that.
Relax.
You're fine.
Let's go right into this by talking about the most dramatic moment ever. And that's going to be what we're doing for this season, since it's going to be The Bachelorette. Our biggest moment of the episode is going to start us off. And I think for this episode, since it's the first episode, the entire concept in and of itself is the most dramatic moment ever, because this entire thing is a bad idea.
Amen.
This is a bad idea. Literally, you have Rachel and Gabby, 2 very beautiful women, basically battling it out as the Bachelorette. And they can claim all day long that that's not what's happening, but it's literally happening day one. Rachel is in every single confessional talking about how much she's like so excited for her and Gabby to be on this like journey together, but also I don't know how it's going to work. That's what she says every single time she's in front of the camera. Like, she's so insecure about this, and honestly, rightfully so, but she's not happy about it. And I don't know if I am either, but I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah,
What do you think, Adam?
I genuinely think this is going to be a disaster. I think we've already seen clips of a couple of the guys rejecting Rachel and, saying I'm here for Gabby, and then apparently vice versa. It is literally a formula for disaster. I don't think this is going to work, and I think we're going to love
it.
Amen. I think that this is going to be the worst, best season ever. I think there was nothing that angered me more than seeing Meatball tell Rachel, no, sorry, I'm here for Gabby. Like,
yes,
your name is Meatball. Your name is Meatball.
Your name is fucking Meatball.
You were just lucky enough to be included, Meatball. But
don't you think it's a little bit like of an ego like thing to bring a fucking meatball sub and your nickname is Meatball? I feel like that's
like,
a little
eat me? Like, no, thank you. Not on the first Meatball. No one likes you.
Okay.
But what made me so mad is that the reason why everyone fell in love with Rachel and Gabby in Clayton's season is because everyone hated the whole like back and forth of Clayton fucking with their brains. And then like the scene they showed it was one of my favorite scenes from like one of the finales of Clayton's season. They showed it in the beginning of this season where Gabby was like, Clayton, I said I wanted to leave and you told me to stay because you were like so in love with me and you wanted me to be here. And now not even 24 hours later, you're flipping this shit around and now you're telling me to get out. Like you, because you wanted it to be your choice. God bless her. And now they're putting them in the same position. And they kept saying, they kept saying like, it's not going to be that. They're not going to be pitted against each other. Meatball fucking crushing Rachel's spirit to say that I'd prefer Gabby is the same thing.
It definitely seems like in the same evening, Rachel gets rejected multiple times. Like, it is clearly the same evening. And so
that's all from the teaser.
You have to imagine how Rachel feels at the end of that night. That's terrible.
It would literally be my 13th reason if Meatball turns me down. Like,
you get turned down by
the teaser. Like, everything that they're teasing right now is going to be in the teaser, which we're going to talk about later. But that is so true. Like, you literally this whole show is supposed to be about like giving women the like power. Like for the first time in relationships, women have the power on TV at least. And they literally removed the women's power by giving the guys the option to choose between, like, they did this years ago with Caitlin Bristow, and I can't remember the other girl's name, unfortunately, because they've had 2 bachelorettes before, but on the first night, the guys voted to decide which one of them they wanted to stay as the bachelorette, and they chose Caitlin Bristow. And it's a great season.
That would have been my 13th reason. That would have been my
absolutely.
That right there.
Britt was chosen by the least amount of guys, so she got sent home. And then there were guys on Caitlin's season who chose Britt, but they were like still there because they were on The Bachelorette. It feels the same but different. It feels like Rachel is kind of the Britt in this situation, and Gabby is Caitlin, and like more of the guys like Gabby, but like the other guys are there. It's just like
understandably more of the guys like Gabby. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, Gabby's hilarious.
I'm sorry, Rachel.
Do you guys think? I'm sorry, but Rachel like seems like she's here to have a man sweep her off her feet. Gabby's here to like actually find a connection with somebody, and that's a big.
I agree.
Well, because do you guys know? So Gabby's 31. Rachel's 26. 26. That's a baby. I'm 26, and like
we're 26, baby. We're us.
All 26. Yeah,
like,
we're not ready for any of that.
Our brains just stopped developing like 5 minutes ago. Like, how are you ready? But like, I think the one hang up I have with like Rachel, maybe this is off topic. I don't know. She has Christian girl vibes. Christian girl energy.
She does have Christian girl energy.
And as someone with like religious trauma,
I think everybody in this call has religious trauma.
Like, Christian girls scare me. So,
Absolutely.
Run.
I think that's why I gravitate towards Gabby, but I'm not a Rachel hater. We don't hate women here. We hate men.
Absolutely.
Right.
We definitely hate men on here. Okay, so I'm going to go off topic just a little bit, or off script, I should say. We should talk about our first impressions of Gabby and Rachel, like, after seeing the first episode. Like, Hannah, tell me what you think of Gabby as bachelorettes. Gabby and Rachel separately, and then also together.
Okay, so I think, kind of like what I was saying, I think Rachel is so obsessed with finding a man. Like, I think, but it makes me sad because she's a badass pilot, fucking flies planes. Like, you don't need a man, you have a plane. Like, I don't understand why you feel the need for that. But whatever, maybe she wants to be a mom or something. Sure. I think that she's going to get too attached to too many people. And I think her skin might not be thick enough for how brutal this is going to be. Not that I think anyone's skin is thick enough to deal with this situation, because it's actually human mental torture what they're doing to them. Like, this is worse than the Stanford prison experiment.
My God.
But I think Rachel is going to just be crying every episode, every day, all day long, which is like, okay, Absolutely. I'll join her. And then Gabby, I think Gabby's going to do better at like removing herself, but I also think in the same vein, she's going to have a harder time making emotional connections, because she's always going to make a joke about everything, which like same trauma response again, but like I think that it's going to kind of fuck her in the end, that like Rachel will have bared her soul to somebody, and Gabby's going to be like that's kind of what
do you think, Adam?
I think first I have to mention the beautiful shot they had of Rachel coming around the plane, making it seem like she just flew from Florida to LA. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And that did not happen. There's no way that actually happened. But
Gabby Gabby's like, Rachel!
That's Rachel! There's no way that happened. I don't believe it for 1 second. It's bullshit. So I'm literally I'm picturing the producers saying to Rachel, okay, go over to the cockpit. We want you to walk around. Gabby, be silly, give her a chest bump, whatever. Y'all are best friends right now. Y'all are best friends, okay? And that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting like the producers are trying to make them be chummy together, but Ray and I talked about it last night while we were reviewing. We don't believe it. We don't believe they're actually like best friends.
Interesting.
Rachel gives me insecure. I think Rachel's very insecure because she sees Gabby's confidence and emotional intelligence, and obviously Gabby is a way better speaker. She's more eloquent speaker, and so like that's why she's also taking the lead every time they talk to the guys. So Rachel kind of feels like she's like in the shadow of Gabby right now. And honestly, Gabby just gives me confidence. Like she seems so natural on television. She seems so confident. She seems calm, but also we noticed when she was talking about the twins, she was like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm not seeing this. I'm not getting an emotional connection." And I think she's going to have a problem with that going forward, like Hannah said, finding the emotional connection, because I don't think any of these guys are really that special. And she's not gonna settle like Rachel might. And I'm sorry for shitting on Rachel so much, but I do think that Tino is just gonna win this show because like he's the guy that's being the nicest to her, that is like, you know, making the inside jokes, being sweet. They kissed. Like I do think Rachel is just gonna fall in love with the guy that is giving her the best attention, and I don't think Gabby's gonna settle.
Yeah. Look, you're talking about shitting on Rachel, girl. I will shit on Rachel. Do not worry.
Bring it.
I put at the very top of my notes, in all caps, Gabby and Rachel are not best friends. They are not best friends. If they were not put in that exact situation last season where they were both being broken up with by Clayton, they would not be friends in real life. Like, I'm not saying they wouldn't like each other. I'm not saying they wouldn't get along. I'm saying they would not be. They trauma bonded. They literally were actually trauma bonded. So no, I don't believe that at all. I believe that had they not put those girls in that situation where Clayton would break up with both of them at the same time, that Gabby would have been our sole bachelorette. I believe that in my entire soul. I think that the show was like, we can't just make Gabby the bachelorette after literally Rachel was also put through this really shitty situation. And so they were in a little bit of a crossroads, and they were like, you know what? Why can't we have two? Let's just do it. We're going to put them back in the exact same situation they were in before by having a guy choose between them. And that's how we ended up in this situation, because Rachel is not happy. Like, from every single interview, she's not happy about being dual batches. She isn't happy at all. And I think the show did a good job last season of giving us a fake out by making us think that Rachel was gonna be the winner, because we didn't think Susie was gonna win based on the edit. Like, they totally made it seem like Rachel was gonna win this. And I truly believe that, like, had they not been put in that situation, it wouldn't have worked out this way. I just don't feel that way. They don't. Yeah. They seem like they get along, and like they keep holding hands, and they keep telling us that they're best friends, but like they don't have chemistry in that way. They don't like finish each other's sentences. They don't walk in unison. They like are
feels staged.
Yes,
it does. Absolutely, yeah, it does.
Two best friends on one wild journey. Like, shut the hell up.
Yeah, like I think they could have even just handled it as like we were in it together in Clayton season, and now we're going to be in it together now. Like, I don't think they had to push so hard for like the best friend thing. Like, because that's very obvious. Be best friends. No, and like, why would they? They were in love with the same man. Like, they don't need to be best friends
at the end of the day.
I think it's worse because it's like clearly becoming a competition already. At least if they weren't best friends, it would make sense that it was competition. Rachel said verbatim, I love having Gabby by my side, but I don't know how this is going to work. And this is like before the show started. Like, this is like before they met the men. This is like when they're just doing like little before interviews. Like, she's already in her head about this not working because they're both there. Even though she's so happy that Gabby's there. Like, no, you're not.
How funny would it be if they, instead of playing the best friend card with Gabby and Rachel, they went the complete opposite route and literally pinned them against each other from the beginning?
That's what they're doing anyway. They might as well. Fuck.
Yeah, but like playing into it and making them talk about it would be so funny.
But can we also just talk about how the show kept saying we're not, because like when they first announced it was the two bachelorettes, everyone was up in arms and was like, no, simply not. Like, y'all are going to pit them against each other again.
This is the worst idea ever.
Worst idea literally in human existence. And then they're going to put them on a cruise ship. We'll get to that later. But then the show comes out and they're like, it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be that way. Then Jesse literally, with his mouth, says, "We have no plans for how this will go. Like, you guys are going to make it up." Like, are you motherfucking kidding me?
Should we talk about Jesse?
Saying they're in control, but really they're not in control at all.
Because there's producers behind them who are like, Gabby's going to steal your man. And like, Rachel wants to fuck Eric or whatever it may be. Like, for either one of them. And then, it is so fucked up.
Rachel
but Jesse...
So
Jesse's nasty.
I think Jesse is low-key the villain of the season. And here's my reason why.
Is that your choice? Are we going into villains? Are we going into villains?
No. We'll talk about villains later, but like this is my like in the moment hot take, because I'm putting everything together because we're all getting the same vibe from Jesse this season. And because like I wrote down, I was like, Jesse and the producers literally said, "Figure it out" to the girls. Like they literally were like, "Figure it out." And I noticed that when they first come up to him and they're like right before the limos, they like walk up and he's kind of like, "So how have you guys decided to work this out?" And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna like do this," and then he was like, "Have you guys worked that out between you though?" Like it sounded like he was pitting them against each other. It sounded like he literally was like trying to see like, is there like already a little bit of a jealousy going on between the two of you? Like, is there already a little bit of competition happening?
So fucked.
Girl.
This is too much of a joint effort. They can't make Rachel and Gabby make decisions together because that is how they will pin them against each other. It does not work. Like the group breakup, which we don't have to get into yet, but like
we'll talk about that later.
Was absolutely ridiculous that Jesse came up to them and were like, "What have you guys decided?" As if it hadn't already been decided by the producers themselves.
Literally.
Let's move on to what is probably going to be my favorite segment the entire season, and it's Gabby's Gabs. Gabby has the best one-liners I've probably ever heard on this fucking show, and I've seen so many seasons of this show. Hannah, what was your favorite line by Gabby this season? This episode. I
have a first place and a second place. I can share my first place and then I can share my second one later. So number one, she says it at the top of the show. I don't trust men.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Me neither. Amen. You shouldn't. You should not trust men. And like,
we are not trustworthy.
It was just proved. Y'all are not trustworthy.
We're genuinely not.
Iconic.
I'm not.
It was so Gabby, so perfect. The way she said it was just like rolled right off her tongue. She's like, "Well, I don't trust men." Like,
absolutely.
Amen, sister. Say it louder for the people in the back. Okay. Adam, Ray, what was yours?
My absolute favorite quote from Gabby of the night. Rachel was talking about the first impression rose and going on and on and on and on. And I think Gabby just goes, "I know, so big." And it just stuck with me, and I'm gonna hear that the whole season. I know, so big.
I know, so big.
Her voice is so funny.
She's so funny, guys. My favorite Gabby one-liner was when she was talking to, I think his name was Erich, which is a stupid name, but his name is Erich.
I don't trust him.
Eric.
I don't trust him because I don't trust his parents.
His name is Eric.
But we're going to call him Erich.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought it was Eric this entire time. Either way, she was talking to him about like her fake hair and her fake tanner. And then she's like, "Well, boys can't tell because they're dumb." And I was like,
amen.
Yes, boys are dumb.
Amen.
They don't notice anything.
So good.
They think that
I'm not gonna lie.
They think that whenever a girl changes their hairstyle, especially with black women, they'll be like, "Oh my god, like, is that your hair looks so beautiful? Like, it grew so fast." I'm like, "No, you idiot! No. Like, they added hair to themselves. Like, women can do that."
I'm gonna come on next week with my hair down here.
We're not educated because we don't change anything about ourselves. We just wake up and we just go out on the day, and it is a privilege.
This is a straight male hating podcast, and we have a resident straight male on here. So,
okay.
Speaking of straight male and
kind of hate
having
myself,
their own voices, he has his own segment here called "Fuck, Marry, Punch," where Adam is going to figure out 3 men for Hannah and I to decide if we would rather marry them, fuck them, or punch them. So go ahead, Adam. What do you think it is?
All right. Welcome to the first segment of Fuck, Marry, Punch, where we talk about who you want to fuck, who you want to marry, who you want to punch. This week, we have 3 great options. Great options for you two. The first is Roby, who we all know and love, and we will never be able to talk to. We will never be able to talk about him again. So I had to include him in this. So the first option is Roby. The second option is Quincy. If you remember Quincy, he said, "Don't worry, I will be here further in this competition." And then the third option is both of the twins at the same time. So
both twins,
fuck, marry, punch, Roby, Quincy, and both twins. Hannah, who you got?
Okay. Oh God. Okay. So
no pressure.
I'm going to marry the Robester. Simply for the entertainment purposes. I don't want him to touch me. I don't want him to come near me. There's gonna be some caveats to the rule though. Like he has to shave his hair off, or at least cut it. He has to take.
Well,
you're
married.
Shower.
You can tell him to do whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah. And then like magic only sometimes, but strictly for entertainment purposes. And then let's see. So Quincy is the life coach from Miami. I don't trust nobody from Miami.
No,
and
ma'am.
then the twins
Isn't that Mario?
No, Quincy's a life coach from Miami. Also,
Mario
also from Miami. That's why.
Is he also a life coach too? I don't even know.
Maybe. Okay. So all
They're
right.
both villain energy, so I get it. I get confused.
Now I'm trying to remember.
So many people.
That was Mario. Okay, whatever. So, so I'm gonna marry Roby. I'm going to fuck the twins for the story, and I'm going to punch Quincy because he's a life coach.
We love a threesome.
Quincy is the one who said, this was going to be my second favorite Gabby quote real fast. Quincy's the one who said, I haven't had sex in 1.5 years.
That's right.
Gabby looks Rachel straight dead in the motherfucking eyes and says, can't say the same for the two of us. Or like, you're the only one. Like, because they both fucked Clayton. I'm like... iconic.
I didn't even catch that part. That's hilarious.
Yeah, 4 months ago they both fucked Clayton at the fucking fantasy suites, and then now Quincy's like, I haven't had sex in 1.5 years, and they're like, can't relate. Okay, Raymond. Robes,
who you got?
Quince,
Mary,
Oh
punch.
my god. Okay, so I think mine's going to surprise you guys, to be honest. I'm going to punch Roby because I don't want to have
he
him
deserves
do,
it.
like magic in front of me for even a second. Let alone
Ray
for the rest of our lives, or let alone during a sexual moment. So I will punch Roby easily in the face.
During a sexual moment.
I'm going to fuck Quincy because he is fuckboy energy, but he's hot. So I would definitely fuck Quincy. And then surprisingly, I would marry both twins. And here's my reason. A very specific reason.
Explain yourself.
We all know I love a project. And I can try to separate them. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have a polyamorous relationship for sure. Like, respect the polyamory lifestyle. However, I want to be able to separate them so that they can have 2 distinct personalities. And at least one of them will have a better personality. So I'll just mostly focus on that one long term in the relationship. You know what I mean? And who says that just because you get married doesn't mean you can't get divorced? If things don't work out, bye. By both of you, or maybe maybe I just divorce one of them. and then I keep the one I like the most.
You're doing what the producers are doing to Gabby and Rachel. You're pinning them against each other, and I fucking love it.
The producers know what they're doing, and baby, I should be one of them.
I support this too. I think this is beautiful, and I think Roby deserves to get punched a little bit, and I think maybe it'll bring him down a peg. He needs to be humbled.
Roby definitely gives me. Roby gives me kid in high school with a rolling backpack who plays his Nintendo DS at lunch by himself, and I'm so sorry because like that kid makes me sad. That kid makes me sad. He also definitely like talks about anime, and I respect anime, but he definitely talks about anime.
He's the kid that like runs with his hands behind his back, just through the hallways.
No. I got a visualization. Not as good as Roby.
He's my husband. It's okay. I can say it.
Okay, you're right.
Hannah supports him.
He's gonna run down the like when we're getting married at our wedding. He runs down the aisle.
He pulls out the cards. Pick a card. Anybody. Pick a card.
And then I pick one, and that's where his vows are written.
I'm just confused. Like, why was he turning magic cards or turning cards into watches? Like, what? I've never heard of that before. Is that a thing? Like, did I miss something? Am I not up on the magician? Like,
that's why it's unique. It's unique because you've never seen it before.
Okay. I didn't want to see it, but do we think Roby is his government name? Like that's on his passport, Roby.
No,
I've heard the name Roby before.
But I don't believe that his parents would name him that. I think he looks like someone who would change his name to Roby. He looks like Roby's a choice. You know what I mean? Like he gives like, it. Oh, my name's Robert. I want to go by Roby. You know what I mean? Like,
so Roby's a nickname.
I feel like Roby's a nickname. Like I don't think
he chose that life.
I don't think he came
Roby
out of the
life
womb.
Didn't choose him. He chose the Roby life.
Do you think that Roby has like a collection of like monogrammed robes? And so he's like, it's robe time with Roby. That could be his podcast.
Honestly, though.
And he's just sitting in his robe. Robe
Party
with
of
Roby,
one.
baby. And then he's just like doing magic. Doing magic.
He should have a line of robes. Absolutely. He should sell these robes.
You know what? Roby
I'd buy a Roby robe.
You know what?
Would you buy a Roby robe?
Maybe I would marry Roby.
Okay,
we're going to talk about Roby for like 30 minutes.
I have more marketing ideas for Roby. So Roby's robes, in the pocket, so it's like a big rectangle pocket, there's a little bunny stitched inside of it. So it's like you could pull a rabbit out. And then like in one of the sleeves, it's a magic robe. It's a robe that helps with your magic. There could be those like things that you pull out of your sleeve.
We want to get paid for this. If you use our fucking ideas, Roby,
if you're listening.
I know you're fucking listening, Roby. What else are you doing?
He's going to get a break
doing magic.
And go DS at lunch by himself. Watching anime now.
If you fucking use our ideas, we want some money on the back end. On the back end. We deserve money on the back end. Hannah deserves a majority share, I won't lie, because she literally gave you the best fucking idea I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'll take like 5%. I'm fine with it.
You know what? It's the least Roby could do for me.
Let's move off of sad energy Roby and go into
I'll miss him. I'll miss you, Roby.
Our new segment, Who's a Villain and Who's Boring? I already said that I think that Jesse is the overall villain of this show, but he's not my choice today. My choice today is Eric, as Hannah corrected earlier. I don't trust that man at all. The first thing he did when he walked out of the limo is he asked these women to tie his tie for him. It was giving 1950s misogyny, and he felt too powerful, like having them both like fix him up, and like then when he was with Gabby and Rachel, it felt like he was being fake with both of them. And he didn't really care who he got his like the first impression rose from. He just wanted the first impression rose. And so I'm just like, I know again, there's two bachelorettes, so the guys technically get to choose. But I'm sorry, either you have a connection with one of them or you don't. There's no way you have a connection with both of them. Let's be fucking honest here. Like, if you like one of them, stick with one of them. You think Eric is hot?
I think Eric is so hot.
Hannah, the mullet.
He's the hottest of the season.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Do you mean Eric?
Hannah.
Are you saying Eric
with his little scruffies and his little hair, and it's kind of
I have never been more disgusted by your behavior.
This is the dissonance we need on this podcast.
Like, we've been agreeing too much. This is disgusting.
So
I'm so grossed out.
Mr. Little Eric, he did say one thing that made me agree with you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, when they gave out the final roses or the first impression roses, he goes, "I'm kind of pissed."
Yeah.
And I was like, Eric, don't do that. But I still want to take you to the fantasy suites. So I think he'll get that far. They're going to take him to the fantasy suite.
He has a curly mullet.
Delicious.
Is he's the one with the mullet?
He's the one with the mullet.
It's a small one.
And it's a mullet nonetheless. I don't care if it's small, little, big, ginormous.
Did he kiss both of them? Or did he just kiss one of them?
He just kissed
Gabby.
Okay, but
he said he didn't want to like, which made me also realize he's being fake, is that he didn't want to like, he said he didn't want to kiss Rachel because he didn't want to like force it. And I was like, okay, if you're already talking about forcing it and not forcing it, then girl, you don't like her. Like you kiss Gabby in the moment because you felt it.
He's just keeping his options open, okay?
Girl, and this is not what the Bachelorette is supposed to be.
Open. It is when there's two of them.
Yes, you're right.
I remember they were sitting very close, Gabby and him. That was the one where like the legs were like being intertwined. I was like, okay, they got physical chemistry. That's good.
For boring, I put Michael, and I don't even remember why, and that says everything.
I don't even know who that is.
Exactly.
I don't know who that is either.
Michael.
So
is that the guy who like had the blue like? No, that couldn't have been boring because that was exciting. The blue like tarp thing, or what? I don't even know what to call that.
Okay, these are my notes on Michael.
Wasn't
are
that
you ready?
Michael?
Yeah, give me your notes on Michael.
It wasn't. Okay.
It says Michael, 32, works in pharma. That's all I wrote.
Yep. I do remember who Michael is now. He is boring.
I had nothing to say. No, the blue man suit was Brandon. He's a bartender.
Brandon with an A at the end of his name. Brandon H.
Sure.
Is that right?
I don't know. I just put Brandon bartender blue suit ?
All right, give me your villain and your boring character, Adam.
Okay, so my villain, hands down, is Mario.
Absolutely.
My first notes for Mario were danced out of limo singing Rachel and Gabby.
Hated it
immediately. And my second note was gives me douchey vibes, villain potential for sure. So I already had a bad vibe with Mario. And then he is the one who was like going in the house, like talking about how like, you know, oh, I don't like how all these men are coming in here, like doing all these fancy stuff. Like he was talking about their intros and stuff. He just gives me bad vibes. He gives me fake vibes. And I hated that him and Gabby like hit it off, I guess.
Yeah, I hated it.
It just gives me fake. It gives me like he's trying to give Gabby what she wants to hear. And I was disappointed that Gabby was like
ate it up.
And then when they kissed, it was terrible kiss chemistry.
Terrible.
He was like pecking at her like a chicken. Like I just hated it. So I was very upset when he got the first impression rose. So yeah, I think going forward, I think everyone's going to see right through him. I think that the first night, okay, we'll give Gabby a pass. Like she doesn't know him that well yet. They kissed, they had chemistry, whatever. I think she'll start to see like he sucks, and I don't think he lasts past mid-season.
I think
you want to touch on it?
Yeah, I think that Mario's the worst because he was the first person to speak in third person this season, and for you to speak in third person,
what did he say?
I don't remember.
Was it like
it was in an interview. It was like in an interview. He was like, Mario's here. Mario's right here right now. Something like that. It was like it was just like I was just like, why are you speaking in third person? Why are you doing that? And I put, to be honest, he's the worst. Gabby fucked up. Like she didn't see through him immediately, which is unfortunate because the moment he walked out of the car, me and Adam looked at each other. We were like, "Oh, easy villain! Like he's a villain." It's
he was like dancing.
He
like
gives
he
misogyny.
Was, like, in the show. Like,
he feels like he's the shit. He's very full of himself. Yeah. Like, and you know what? Maybe that's just like first impressions. Maybe he'll show us that he can be more than that, but I don't believe it. I do think he's going far though. Unfortunately,
really my boring guy is Zach. You might not remember who Zach is because he was the first guy out of the limo.
I do remember Zach.
He just gave nothing. Like he seemed very nervous, and I think he just genuinely didn't say anything interesting. And then we didn't see anything for him for the rest of the night. So
that's so true. To be the first guy out of the limo and then we see nothing else of you, that sounds a lot.
Also, like if you're the first guy out of the limo, give us something more. Sorry, what were you saying, Hannah?
I said, my notes say Zach, tech exec, 25, voice too deep, I'm bored.
Yep.
Yeah, you think like, hey, you're going to be the first one out of the limo. Like, give us some pizzazz. Give us some energy.
Dude,
and he's like, hey, I'm Zach.
I'm the luckiest guy here.
He was so timid.
I'm a tech exec. Yeah. My brain's not done forming.
Oh my God. All right, Hannah, who's your villain and who do you think is boring as hell?
So I have a potential villain who I think we didn't get to see him much, but I want to put this out in the universe. So if it comes to fruition, there is proof that I said it. There's a guy named Chris. His name's Chris and he's a mentality coach.
Ew.
Already, fuck him. He's going to be a villain.
Ew.
But that's not who I picked because we didn't get to really see him much. We only saw him really like come out of the
I have no notes from him.
Limo. Yeah, I put Chris, mentality coach, in quotes. I said, feels like a mansplainer. So I'm not trusting him. So I think
him.
he will be a villain, but since I didn't really get to hang out with him much, I'm not going to put him. I put Ryan, the love child of Chad from JoJo season, and
Clayton.
Jesse, kind of?
Jesse or Clayton, yeah,
Jesse
either one.
Clayton. Yeah. Chad and Clayton got together, made a baby. That's Ryan. He did a few things that triggered me. One, his face. It just looks like a mean dad, and I'm afraid of mean-looking men. I'm afraid of people yelling at me, and he looks like a screamer. And then let's see. He looks like he just looks like, ah! Just like how Chad was a roid rager, Ryan's giving me that energy. And then he also did one of my number one triggers to Gabby. He shushed her multiple times.
He did.
I think she liked it though.
I thought it was more playful. It felt playful, but I get what you're saying. I get exactly what you're saying.
I think he did mean it playfully, but the fact that his brain thinks that was someone he just met, he can shush them.
Ooh, okay.
Shushing is like offensive. Think about it. If someone you just met goes, shh,
I shush the dog. I shush the dog.
If he shushes her again, then I think it's an issue. I definitely think it was playful. I think Gabby and him might hit it off.
I think it was
I know.
So what I got from it is that like
Gabby loves him.
Gabby immediately said that like your handwriting looks like a 5-year-old, and so they were kind of already like. They were kind of already like fighting like in a joking way. Like she was already kind of sparring with him. So that's why I thought it was okay. But I agree with you. That is some sus behavior.
I think that they had a little cute moment. I don't mind that. And like, you know what? I like that they can roast each other. I'm feeling all that. It's just those are like red flags in my brain for like down the line. I think it could get worse.
It's a total red flag.
So I think he could become a huge villain solely because it looks like Chad. And he looks like he would yell at
I would
people.
hate him. I think I would hate him in real life.
I'm
reading Gabby, and I think Gabby likes the sass.
Like, yeah, but I think his sass is going to quickly become big.
It's going to spiral into too much sass.
He is a fine line, and he is just straddling it already. And I think it's just going to get worse. And then for my boring, I picked a controversial one. Okay.
Ooh, say it.
So this person is a mix of Josh Peck and Grocery Store Joe.
Absolutely.
It is Hayden.
Yep.
Hayden.
I agree with you. I already agree with you. He is boring.
I think he looks nice, but like he looks like a doormat.
Absolutely.
Like he's someone that you could just walk all over. And he's just gonna be like and like I feel like that's gonna be something that Rachel likes because I think Rachel wants a little softy, but like Gabby will chew him up and spit him out.
Does he give you Greg vibes? Like Greg from Rachel's season?
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah. But like Greg had a little bit more
Katie, sorry.
Greg had a little bit more like zhuzh to him. I feel
but
like
he's
a little
kind
bit.
of the same kind of demeanor where he's kind of like timid, and like.
I guess. I think I was just more attracted to Greg.
On the surface.
You were just more attracted. I have notes for Hayden.
Greg was so hot.
I put ew Southern Grocery Store Joe, and then he said he went to UCF. Which made me, because we all went to UCF, so I immediately was like, oh, so he definitely probably sucks, but can drink a lot.
We don't support our
that's
college.
all I had on him, but I do agree that he gives boring energy. Like I wouldn't want to, I hope he doesn't go far because I don't really want to watch a full season of him.
Yeah. Like, I can already imagine this is going to be the conversation. Around a one-on-one, it's Rachel and Hayden. Rachel's like, so tell me about your family. And he's like, my mom is the best. My dad, he's a man of few words, but he's the best. My siblings, they're the best. Oh, my childhood, the best. And then Rachel's going to go,
the best.
Thank you so much for opening up to me. I really appreciate that. Like, I know that was really hard for you to bring your walls down, and I really appreciate that. And then they're going to make out and make babies, and I'm just going to be like, bleh.
You know what? Maybe that's who she needs to be with.
Honestly, good call, because that's going to happen. Like word for word.
Yeah. Wow. It's going to be, he's had like the least traumatic life. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's filled with trauma. I don't see it in his eyes.
Like
his eyes don't portray that.
Like I have had no problems in my life. My biggest problem is that like I didn't get to go on my boat fishing last weekend. Like it's, I 100% see that. Yeah. I definitely get that vibe too.
I'm grossed
How
out.
old is he?
He is 29.
Okay, he's a little older. I like that.
There.
No, I think he might have been graduating when we started.
Yeah, he was probably a senior. Yeah, you're right.
He has a cute puppy, which that does count for something.
No, it doesn't count for anything for me.
Yes,
I mean, it brings him up a little bit,
absolutely,
like half a point.
Bonus points for me. It's just absolutely.
You guys are the worst. Let's go into another segment called Uncomfy Moments, and I'm going to start with all the Clayton slander. And hear me out here. Look, Clayton sucked at the end of last season. He sucked most of the season, let's be honest. But he sucked a lot at the end of last season. The way he did the girls was terrible. But if Rachel and Gabby want to make fun of him, talk about him negatively, say that he's the worst, say that he sucks, like, absolutely, they have every right to, because he specifically did them dirty. I don't like that all the guys were joking about it. I don't like that the show put together a fucking quartet to like sing a song called Clayton Sucks on national television.
Clayton sucks.
I thought that was too far. I really thought it was too far. Really sucks. Especially because you know that it wasn't like, I forgot who brought him out. Do you guys remember who brought him out?
It was Alec, right?
Alex, right?
Yes, it was Alec. Alec didn't write that song. Alec didn't like write that song, give it to these 4 kids and have them sing it. Like, the producers of this show wrote that song, gave it to these kids to sing, and I just think that that's a little fucked up. Like, he's a former leader.
They were probably rehearsing this song before Alec actually made it onto the show.
Absolutely. Yeah. They literally probably went up to Alec and were like, hey, if you want to, are you going to, like, do you have any ideas? And he's like, oh, probably not. I don't have any ideas, really. Do you guys have any for me? And they were like, well, we have a quartet that will sing a song about how much Clayton sucks, and then you can just come out and say hi. And he was probably like, okay, that sounds easy. Like, I'll do that. Like, that's, I think is a detriment.
I think it is a detriment to allow like a quartet to do your work for you, because
I agree.
Now, like, when you come out and you start talking to the girls, like, if I'm Gabby, if I'm Rachel, I'm thinking like, well, he didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Like, genuinely, he didn't do anything. So like, yeah, I don't think it helps your case at all.
He also only had a singular low-hanging earring on one ear. It came down real far, and then this ear was naked. That's a red flag.
You're against the one, just so I know for the future. The one is bad.
Not just the one, not just one. I mean, maybe if he had like a long one and then like something that was like, I don't know, bigger and more obvious over here, but it felt something very unbalanced and just very uncomfortable.
Two long ones.
Simply
too
not.
Much?
No. I mean,
simply no.
Yeah, I'm just checking, just making sure for the future.
I mean, I think there's an outfit where that would work, but I don't think first impressions on The Bachelor is where you want that one to happen.
Right. Noted. When I go on, I'll make sure that I just have one long one.
Good job. Okay. Smart. Right up.
What do you guys think about the Clayton slander and the Alec quartet, other than like the fact that he shouldn't have done it?
It should be made illegal. Those children deserve financial compensation for the emotional trauma that they're enduring. And I just, the Clayton slander is just cheap. It's an easy hit. It's like, it's a thoughtless, like, easy way to like get attention. And it's just not very creative to me. And also, like, yeah, you can go. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. At the end of the day, we did this last season. Like, we went through the Clayton slander, like, and it was deserved. Like, it was deserved. The Clayton slander was absolutely deserved. He fucked up. He made a bunch of mistakes. He hurt these women. But this isn't his season. This is not his season. Mm-hmm. Like, let's let go. Let's make this about Rachel and Gabby. Let's not give Clayton the spotlight again when this is nothing to do with him. So absolutely. I think them making this a storyline, it better get cut right now. Like, they better not continue talking about Clayton going into this season, because that's just, first of all, unfair to the girls to start. Mm-hmm. And then also it is unfair to Clayton, because he got his time. He got his like shit end of the stick. He got his, his slander. Like, we're done with that. We don't need to keep shitting on him. I hopefully he learned his lesson. So
the show should do better. The show should definitely do better. That was I thought that was super fucked up.
Yeah, it was just
my other uncomfy moment was the super awkward but very polite group breakup. I just thought this was ironic because the whole reason that they are the two bachelorettes is because they got broken up with. And yes, obviously it's different because this is the first night versus literally the last night. However,
sure.
It's so ironic, and I can't believe no one involved saw that. They're gonna pull them. I thought it was nice to not make them go through a whole rose ceremony, but like you literally bring the twins and our good pal magician Roby with his fucking magic robes outside, and you tell them that they're gonna go home. Also, it's fucking daylight because the rose ceremonies always happen in the morning on the first night because that's hilarious.
Did you guys see Roby's face? His face, I felt so bad. Like mortified. You could see like all the blood rushed out of his face. And he looked miserable and so uncomfortable. And I was just like, Roby needs a hug right now. And I want to go hug Roby as much as we hate his magic. Like, I wish I could have been there to support Roby in that moment because I don't give a fuck about
the twins. Had each other.
Yeah,
like the twins have each other straight out from the womb.
They could have broken up with Roby first. They could have like been like, "Hey, Roby, can we talk to you outside real quick?" Broken up with Roby, and then like, "Hey, twins," literally call them the twins. Because like that's who they are.
No one knows their names. Joey and Justin, I think.
Something like that.
Joey and something, yeah.
I
just felt so bad.
I thought it was a little
fucked up. And the fact that they had to do it together, like at the same time, was so awkward. And I could tell Rachel and Gabby were like, "Who's gonna talk? Like, who's gonna say something?" And so
the lack of planning is
astounding. Like too formal. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, maybe they should have. Maybe Rachel should have grabbed the twins, and Gabby should have grabbed Roby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something,
or like
right?
They couldn't find 2 or 3 more men to get rid of and just have a rose ceremony. Like you're telling me that out of all of those men, there are a few more you think you could have picked out? Meatball?
Because it was just Roby and the twins, it makes it look so much worse for those guys because like you have to really suck to be just
so
the 3 guys to be pulled out of the entire group. And just say, like, we just really didn't like you.
We talked to you guys. We literally spoke to you guys. We didn't speak to everyone, but we spoke to you guys. And, like, you were gross. So we're sending you home.
You gave us gross vibes. Goodbye.
Oh, my God. When the twins pulled both Rachel and Gabby into that, like, fireplace room, Gabby's face the whole time. That is the twins' 13th reason, 100%. Like when they watched that back last night and they had to see that with their own eyeballs again, you need therapy.
We want to show you that we have different personalities. So we're going to talk to you at the same time. These are all the ways that
we're the same. They have the same job.
But different companies.
Different companies, but they do the same thing.
Do the same job.
At that point, just work at the same damn company. Like what?
The thing that got me is when one of the twins was like, "Yeah, when we were in college, I could see him all the way from across campus." I was like,
I could tell he was there.
Like, are you sure you're not in love with each other? Like, also, twins scare me. I'm afraid of twins. I don't like them.
Twins might be in love with each other just a little bit, just a little tiny bit. Like
all the twins are going to come at you guys. You're going to get canceled for being.
I'm not a twin, so I don't understand how it works. If you guys actually got telepathy. Go off.
Not all twins scare me. It's the ones that look the same. Identical twins just freak me out a little bit. Like you're telling me there are 2 of you, and then the fact when they broke down, like I could see him from miles away. Do you have superpowers? And then it was like we went to the same college, but we didn't live together. Like I feel like you guys are a package deal. So Gabby lives in Colorado. Rachel lives in Florida. If we each pick a twin, can y'all even survive without one another being at an arm's reach?
No, literally.
I think they did the twins a real disservice by letting them get out of the limo at the same time and letting them talk to the girls at the same time because you really didn't let them show their personalities. You played into the twin thing, and it's the producer's fault that the twins got sent home. I'm sure they suck genuinely because they like don't have distinguished personalities.
Well, they're 24.
You could have given them a fighting chance by letting them talk to people separately.
The show has had twins before, and usually like I don't remember if you remember Ben Higgins' season, Hannah.
The blonde twins.
Yes, they were funny, and so that's kind of how they stayed along for a while because they were funny. They played into the fact that they were kind of the same. They would literally finish each other's sentences. It was kind of like a joke, and so the show and Ben kept them on because they were entertaining. These twins were boring. Like, they were literally like, we're different, but then we're also the same. And then they had no funny things to say. I thought the twins were going to come in and be annoying. So I thought the twins were going to last a little bit longer because I thought they were going to come in and be annoying. The show was going to be like, we have to keep them because they're annoying and they're entertaining and we need them for a couple of weeks. But I don't know if it was the cameras, but those motherfuckers had nothing to say at all.
No, nothing. It was just uncomfortable. That was it. I think the producers really thought they were doing something, bringing in the twins. Like, they truly thought this was going to be like iconic. And it's like, well, one, we've been there, and two, not these twins.
You chose the wrong twins, baby.
Bring more interesting twins, like
hotter twins, older twins, like everything.
I still would have chosen the twins to be my husbands. But
some like 35-year-old twins who like haven't lived together for the last 10 years. Like, give us something a little bit. Give us men. Don't give us these boys who like.
Yeah, you think 31-year-old
Gabby?
31-year-old Gabby is going to want to fuck a 24-year-old twin that is obsessed with his brother that he can see him miles away. Because they have this
He's
job.
Gonna be thinking about his twin while they're having sex. Sorry, I said
he wants his twin to be in the room.
I miss my twin.
I miss my twin. He can't be so far from me.
Enough twin slander.
Let's move on to our top 4. And we're doing top 4 for both Gabby and for Rachel. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I have do you guys want me to do like we all do Rachel first and then we all do Gabby?
Okay.
So Rachel, we're all gonna have this man on our top 4. I mean, unless you guys think differently, but Tino is like already her husband. Like, that's just the thing. Like, he's top 3. I'm calling it. It's happening. All right.
He's off-brand Pilot Pete.
Oh shit, he is. Oh my god. I didn't even see that until now. Oh wow.
He looks just like Pilot
everything.
Pete.
Ew. I hate that.
I put Hayden on my top 4 for Rachel. You know, you guys think he's a little boring. I do think Rachel thinks he's sweet. He wrote the birthday card. I think, you know, they at least had a little cute rapport, and I think Rachel's all into that shit. Avon was the guy who talked about how it takes him a little bit to open up. I thought he seemed very nice, very genuine. Rachel definitely said he wanted him to kiss her. So that's a good sign right there, which means
he's hot too.
She's attracted to him. Yeah. And then Jordan V, who's the race car driver. I thought they had a really good one-on-one. Jordan related to her by saying that they both spend time in like cockpits or something. And, so, you know, I didn't like it, but Rachel did, and that's what matters. So
it was a stretch.
All right, Hannah, get on your Rachel.
Okay, I'll go. Let's see. So for my top 4, I think it's almost verbatim to Adam's. So definitely our off-brand Pilot Pete. Hayden, the birthday card, personally, Rachel acted like he gave her $1 million. I would have preferred the $1 million personally. Jordan, the drag race driver. It's kind of like how I feel about Jordan is how I feel about men who drive big trucks. Like, what are you proving? Like, what are you hiding? And like, it's just
any
like
car guy ever.
Yeah, if your passion is like an engine, like, I don't trust you. And
I agree.
So,
sorry, car guys.
Fourth person is, I was gonna put Avon, but then Avon, I just don't think he's gonna make it too crazy far. He gives me the energy of a guy who cries a lot. So I'm kind of hoping he doesn't stick around.
We love sensitive guys on this podcast.
We love sensitive guys, but there's crying, and then there's just like simply too much. And then. So for my 4th, I put Logan, the guy with the 2 chicks. They weirdly really liked him.
Yeah.
I did not see that one coming, but I feel like they both like vibed with him.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
My list is exactly the same as yours, Hannah. It's Tino because he got the first impression rose by Rachel, and like Rachel's literally in love with him. They're basically getting married. They have 2 kids on the way. They're having twins.
They 100% are already pregnant.
100%.
And then Logan, they liked him. Like, they both really liked him, and for some reason, like, it feels like he's a front runner, even though I find him to be somewhat attractive. And like, I think it's mostly the mustache and the hairstyle. I think if we switch those things up,
It's like,
does he have a mustache?
He does, I think, right?
I think
does
I was too
I didn't even
distracted to
notice
see that.
that.
His
Maybe I made
hairline
that up.
bothered
Either
me
way,
too
the
much.
hair really is a
Distracted by the
problem.
handwriting.
Just all of it.
Yeah, he has a little bit of a mustache. Yeah, I don't find him attractive. And then Hayden, yeah, because she like thought that letter was like the note was like the nicest thing that has ever happened to her ever, and I feel bad for her because I feel like not a lot. I'm sorry, not a lot of nice things.
She's gonna settle.
Have happened to her.
She's gonna settle.
Yeah, that's a low bar. A birthday card is a low bar.
A very low bar.
She does have a low bar.
He also like definitely like had to stalk her to figure out all this information about her, but we'll pretend like he didn't. And then Jordan V.
Stalking's normal these days, right?
Sure. Jordan V. The drag race driver. I hate him.
Yeah.
Because he compared him drag racing to her flying a plane. And I just those are just so not the same thing. Like, one, you have to go to school for like a couple, I don't know how long, but for years, and like practice a lot and like do so much for it. And then one's like you learning how to drive. I know it's a lot of work
Just like
to learn how to drag
It's-
race. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying him comparing it to literally her lifting things out of the air, off the ground and into the air, and having the confidence to do that is just not the same. It's just not the same. We get it. You both ride in vehicles for your job. We get it, but it's not the same.
Does
he
Rachel
stretched it?
Does Rachel only fly small planes, or does she fly for like an airline?
I think it's
private?
small
No,
planes
it's
right
just
now.
small
She's a
planes.
flight instructor
Okay.
mostly.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, so
give
now
me
we're
your
moving
Gabby
to
list, Adam.
Gabby.
Top
Okay,
four.
so Gabby, I have Logan P, which you guys said for Rachel, I think, right?
Yes.
I think Gabby and him had a better rapport. He was the one who was like talking about like hiding snacks and bringing them to the movies, which I think is 100% the correct answer. Ray and I literally did that yesterday. But I thought that was funny. He's funny. They have a good rapport. I have Eric. I thought they had good kiss chemistry, Gabby and him.
They did.
And they were sitting very close. They seemed to have good physical chemistry. Jacob was the Fabio guy who came on the horse.
Yeah.
He seems like he, I get like a weird vibe from him. I get a little cocky, but also he seems like he's good at expressing himself. So that might go well with Gabby, and they had a good talk. He like read that note to her. So I have high hopes. And Gabby also said that she wanted him to kiss her. So that's always a good sign for me. And then Ryan, the Boston guy who had the bad handwriting, called her Gabbers. They were checking for each other's boogies. I thought they had good chemistry. I thought he was fun, and I think she's going to like him.
Yeah. I'm with
All right,
you.
Hannah, what about you?
I think mine's pretty similar, again, just a little different. So for Gabby, I put Ryan. So the clown guy, he's also the guy who looks like a roid rager. I think she is going to take Mario a little far, because whenever the women give someone the first impression rose, they like can't let that one go. Eric for sure, but like Eric looks like an off-brand Nick Viall, which I think also is maybe why I'm so attracted to him. He's off-brand.
Oh wow, that might make him a little bit hotter to me.
Nick is hotter, yeah. And then as my wild card, I put Logan in both categories. So I think Logan is going to be a source of drama for the show, and like the ladies are going to be fighting over him. So
it's unfortunate because he's not hot enough to be that guy. But I
he's
think
not
you're
hot
right
at all. Yeah,
like he's not hot enough to be that guy. But
okay,
so
Raymond, lay it on us.
My Gabby list is our good friend Eric, because they like Adam said, they did have really good kiss chemistry. I think he's, like I said, I still think he's the villain. Like, I think he might be the one that kind of plays both sides a little bit. But I can tell that Gabby really likes him. And I think he actually does like Gabby more, because I think he has better chemistry with her. I think he just thinks Rachel's hot. Mario.
They shared a good kiss.
Because I agree with Hannah that a lot of the times, like usually and most times when the Bachelorette gives a first impression rose, they're the winner. Literally.
95% of the time.
95% of the time. I think Tayshia and Hannah Brown are like the only two in the last like 6 years that didn't choose their first impression rose winner. It's crazy. So I'm going to go with Mario, at least going far. I don't think he necessarily wins. I do think that she will eventually see through him, but I do think he goes far, unfortunately. And then I have Nate, who I don't know anything about him yet because I only see him in the teasers a lot with Gabby. And like it seems like in the teasers they have really good chemistry and she like really likes him. She like jumps on him.
Different
and, like,
one-on-ones probably.
Yes, it seemed like they had at least 2 different one-on-ones if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He will go far. I think that Nate's going to go far. He's also really hot. I hope she chooses him out of all the guys.
I just don't like his hair. It's like it's gravity defying, and it's just like it's too distracting.
It's cool. It's different. It's
I
unique,
like it.
You know, maybe Gabby likes it.
And then I chose Ryan as her other option because I do think they had really good chemistry. Him calling her Gabbers and Gab and like I thought that was like so quick and such easy rapport. I loved it. And then I put Tyler as like a bonus for both of them because in the teaser he's like sitting with Jesse and Jesse is like, we saw nothing from Tyler, by the way. We don't even really know who this man is.
I don't know who the hell Tyler is.
Who is that?
But in the teaser he's like sitting with Jesse and he's like, it's such a hard decision. And Jesse's like, are you like changing your mind? Or like he was like saying something. And so it made me be like, is Tyler, this guy we haven't seen anything from, the one that actually pits them against each other? Like, because I would love that. I would love a little sneaky like undercover villain at the end.
Yeah.
We need this drama.
It's Tyler.
This is the drama we need.
Yeah.
I needed to say it too because I want it, if it's true, I want it to be on record.
You want proof.
That,
you want proof.
I saw Tyler as a little bit of a sleeper.
I also think Jacob is going to be one of the guys who kind of jumps between the two. I think I saw something in one of the promos where he was also talking in the group of guys who were talking about, I don't know who to pick. And like,
which one's Jacob?
Not good.
He's the Fabio guy.
Oh, Jacob's Fabio. Okay, yeah.
Back to my initial first impressions. Back to my initial first impressions. Men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. Let's talk about this teaser for a second. They're gonna be on a cruise ship. If someone doesn't get sent home on a dinghy, I want a fucking refund. I want a refund for this entire
motherfucking plank.
I need to walk the plank joke. I need it. Who's gonna say it?
Bitch.
When you cross it off my bingo card, I need it. We should make a bingo card.
Bingo card.
It's so funny.
Absolutely.
If there's not multiple like pirate like type references while they're on a cruise ship, I want someone to literally get like they're in the middle of the ocean, and I want them to like have a little small dinghy or a little like just small boat, take the person
that row themselves away
off of. Oh my god, rowing themselves away. I want that. I think
on cruise ships they're called tenders. Isn't that what they call the little boats that you take?
That's what I was looking for. I want them to literally force the person who gets sent home to go home on a tender, but we know they're just going to circle that tender around and bring them back to that goddamn cruise ship. But I want them to
tender or tender. Is it tender or Tinder?
Tender, like a chicken tender, like a chicken tender.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. I mean, I don't know that to be true. That's false confidence, but in my head, it's chicken tender.
What else stood out to you guys about that teaser? I know we talked a little bit about it throughout the show so far, but
I think you can go, Adam. I don't really have thoughts.
I saw a consistent theme that like the girls are being made to feel like they're not good enough, and it's because of this format. And so we even saw Gabby crying, saying like, "This isn't going to work. I don't think this is going to work." And I really think it's so disrespectful of this show to do what they're doing to these girls, because they're definitely going to make this impossible. They're going to make this so complicated. We don't know how group dates and stuff are going to go, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be uncomfortable. And I don't think the girls are going to like it.
Do you think group dates? Okay, I have two things now. Group dates. Do you think it will be both girls with like it's usually like what, like 5 or 6 guys that go on a group date? Sometimes more in the beginning.
In the beginning, there's a time more, but yeah.
And then like how is that gonna go?
I have no idea.
Don't think the show knows how it's gonna go, and I think that's a problem.
That's the issue, yeah. And then like also,
sorry, go ahead.
There was the 1-on-1s, or maybe it was a 2-on-2, and it was like the 2 girls were sitting at a table, like they were in like Paris or something. 2 boys next to them, and they're like, "We've decided we're gonna switch dates." That
like what?
And a producer went up to them and was like, "You guys should switch. You guys should switch dates. You guys should switch." And then they were like, "Okay, yeah." That is torture.
Like
this is gonna end terribly.
So fucking stupid.
Like they better be paying for therapy for these bitches.
That's what I literally was thinking.
Do therapy
I was like,
while they're filming.
I agree. I think that they have the option to like talk to someone, but I think it's just someone who's paid by The Bachelor. So I don't know if that's even any better. So
yeah, it's horrible. At least like on some of those other dating shows, there's like they have to go to therapy and stuff first. Like I think with like Love is Blind or something. Which show is it where there's like a therapist? I can't think of it, but there's some reality show where it's like they have to like get mentally checked.
Oh, I think it might be F-Boy Island, actually, weirdly enough. And I was going to bring up F-Boy Island because they do a similar concept. There's 3 girls, and then, like, they're dating this pool of guys. And they, like, mix and match, and it definitely actually works. Like, it works. The girls kind of are, like on a team together, and they're, like, trying to figure out which guy's a fuckboy, which guy's a good guy. And I think they could work for The Bachelor, Bachelorette, but I don't think that they set it up in a way that it will work. Because it's giving... the guys like genuinely feel like they have too much power, and during the teaser, that's all I saw. Like it was just like the guys deciding, the girls acknowledging that the guys have the power, and I'm just sitting here like, these producers are up in their little room, fucking either laughing or feeling like complete shit, but also still laughing.
They deserve prison.
They deserve prison, but I can't wait to watch it. All right, guys. To end our show, we're gonna do a little rumor report from Hannah. So
I heard a little rumor.
She's been hearing some things, so she's gonna tell us some stuff.
Something. I don't know if it's confirmed. Maybe it has been. And I don't even remember where I heard this from. But we already have one English teacher from Nashville, John. Okay. The rumor mill is spinning that another little teacher from Nashville will be joining the crew, and we're going to have 33 men. Now, if we can think back to Miss Katie Thurston's season, the little Connor, I heard that rumor. Connor is coming back, baby.
No,
I think Rachel will fuck Connor.
I have heard this rumor before. I thought it was debunked, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. I didn't follow up on it. I never followed up on it. I hope it's not true. I do not need to see Connor the cat on my fucking screen.
I don't need Connor. I don't need Connor on this.
Gives me anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anxiety.
He gives me anxiety because like he's one of those people that's just like, I'm so nice, but then it's like no one's that nice.
No.
He's insecure, I think. He's like wicked insecure. And remember in Bachelor in Paradise with what was her name? But Marissa. She ended up with Riley, like
Marissa.
Yes, Marissa.
That was so uncomfortable.
He could not build a bridge. He couldn't get over it. He was
so sad, and I hated seeing him so sad. Like it's just we don't need Connor. We don't need Connor.
I hope your rumor is not true, Hannah. I hope
it's not true too.
I hope it's not true.
Me too.
And I hope next week you come with a rumor that I want to happen, because I don't want this rumor to happen.
Hannah, be better. Bring us better.
I didn't say it was a good rumor. I just said it was a rumor.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'll find a better one next time.
Thank you. Please and thank you. This brings us to the end of our first episode of IdiotBox podcast, recapping ABC's The Bachelorettes. Again, plural, because they hate women on ABC. We love Rachel and Gabby. Obviously, I'm more Team Gabby because she's funnier. But I want them both to succeed, and I hope, for the love of God, that at least one of them finds some guy who's not a complete piece of shit. That's all I want.
Tino.
Retweet though.
All right, guys.
It's been fun.
It's been great. It's been a great time.
Great fun, fresh time.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.